BookTube? Welcome to my channel if you're new here, welcome back if you're not. This is the Bookish Life of Laura. I am obviously Laura, and today I'm talking about every single book that I have read and loved so far in 2020. This is going to be a two-part video where I talk about all the books that I have read in 2020 so far, from January 1st up until now. I'm filming this on April 6th, apparently. I don't know what day it is. So at the time of filming, this is every book that I've read so far this year. This video will be the books that I have liked, which will include every book that is a 3.5 star or higher. And then part 2 will be every book that I have not loved, which will be 3 star and lower. So without further ado, here is my list. Since I did a March wrap-up video already a few days ago, or I guess when you're watching this it'll be last week, I'm not going to talk about the books that I've read in March because I already did, so I'll link that video down below. But for the rest of them, I will give like my brief thoughts on them and like why they got that rating, why I loved them, or for the next video why I didn't love them. So for this video it'll be all the books that I have loved from January until now. There are way more of these than there are of the ones that I didn't love, which is great, but this video will be quite a bit longer than that one is. I think I have like 20 books, 19 books, something like that for this list, and like 7 for the other one, so it's a bit of a difference, which is great. I love that. I'm very happy that I've been reading more good books than bad books this year. Love that for me. So let's get started. Starting with January. Obviously, that's the first month of the year. The first book that I read and loved this year was On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. This one is a YA contemporary. This is the book that made me realize that I don't like contemporary anymore. So since I went into this book thinking that I still liked contemporary and then just realized that, you know what, not really, I didn't let that change my rating of it because, you know, I thought that I still liked this genre at the time, so I didn't think it was fair to give it a lower rating because my taste had changed. So I still gave this one 4 stars. I think Angie Thomas is a amazing writer and she tells really good stories. This one, I said in my review on Goodreads, I'm not going to like give my thoughts on it because the thoughts of a white person is not needed for this type of book. So I encourage people to go and read reviews from people who actually can relate to this story. Next up was Come Tumbling Down by Seanan McGuire. This book got a full 5 stars, not even a question. I adore this series. This one, it wasn't my favorite book in the series. That one I think will still always be the 4th one because I love the Goblin Market, like that would be my world. But I do love Jack and all the characters from the first book, so I love seeing them again. So this one still got a 5 stars. Honestly, I think every book in this series has gotten a 5 stars for me, which, like, looking back, there are some that I would maybe change before, but this is not one of them. This one definitely still gets 5 stars. I do wish that these books were longer. I think a lot of people wish that. I think they would really benefit from being longer, but I just love them so much and they mean so much to me that like they just get 5 stars automatically, basically. I don't often like think critically about my ratings before I post them. I just kind of pick with whatever I feel, and these books are always 5 stars for me, even the ones that I don't like as much as the other ones. I think it's the 3rd one I'm not like huge on, but I think it still has 5 stars on Goodreads because that's just who I am. I love these books. They're a wonderful series. I love Portal Fantasy and I love all the characters and just the writing style, and oh my god. Oh, so good. So good. Next was The Night Country by Melissa Albert. This is book 2 of the Hazelwood duology or series. I don't know if it'll be a series. Right now there's 2 books. There might be more later on, who knows. This is actually one of the books that I changed my rating for right before filming this video. While I was going through my Goodreads and writing down which books would be in which video. That one was at a 3, so it was going to be in my books that I didn't love video, but I was like, you know what, I actually liked this one more than some of the other ones that are on that list, so I'm gonna bump it up to a 3.5, that way it can be on this list because it wasn't my favorite book ever. I definitely liked the first book better, but I did still love this book, kind of. I love the world of this book, of this series. The actual plot line isn't really my fave, and I honestly can't stand the main character. I think she's so annoying, but the world is just so much fun. It's pretty much the same reason of why I love the Wayward Children series. Anything to do with like a portal to a different world, and this one also like wraps in fairy tale, so it's portal fantasy, but the other world is a fairy tale world, and I think that's wonderful. Like, that is so cool and I want to go there. But yeah, no, so I loved that world so much that even though the actual book itself wasn't my favorite thing ever, I still wanted to have this one on this list just because that world is so good, so beautiful. Next, I read The Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky by Mackenzi Lee. This book takes place after the events of Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue and before Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, and it was just so much fun. There wasn't that much to it. It's literally just Monty and Percy trying to get laid. But it was really cute, it was fun. I liked seeing a more vulnerable side to both of these characters. They both really open up and kind of get emotional in this. I thought it was wonderful. It was a great way to like see more of who their characters are, and it was just really fun, so I gave this one a 4-star. The next one that I loved was Dark and Deepest Red by Anna Marie McLemore. This one was so good. I had never read a book even similar to this before. This book is about the dancing plague in the 16th century, and it takes place in that time period as well as in the present day, so it goes back and forth. It has like the descendants of the characters from the before time period, and it was just really interesting. It was so beautifully written. I really need to read more of her books because they're just so good. Her writing style is just incredible. She has this really magical way of telling stories that I just absolutely adore. Her writing style is probably one of my favorites. I didn't love one of her other books, Blanca and Roja. Like, I ended up DNFing that one, but like I wanted to keep reading it just for the writing style because it's so beautiful, and like she just really knows how to tell a story. This one is magical realism. It's good. Please read it. It's her newest release as well. It came out, I think, mid-January, something like that. Just read it. It was so good. It was so good. I love it. Next up was Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey. I loved this book. I give it a 4-star. I mentioned this in a different video where I talked about my undying love for Sarah Gailey and just how beautifully they write stories. This book in particular isn't like a new favorite or anything, but Sarah Gailey as an author definitely is a new favorite because their storytelling is just so well crafted that I will now read anything that they write. And I'm hoping to get to hopefully 2 of their books this month for the Owls if I can swing that, that'd be amazing. But it's just so good. I loved it. It was a really interesting take on the future of America. It's the future in America, but they went back to Wild West time. And it's just like this band of queer librarians. They were meant to be like working for the government, but they're actually part of the revolution. So they use their position and their jobs to actually defy the government, and there's just like a bunch of queer nerdy ladies on horseback riding through the desert. It's amazing. I can't recommend it enough. Next up was The Coldest in Her Bones by Peternelle Van Arsdale. This one I considered bumping down to a 3-star to have it on the other list, but I kept it where it was because I did really like it. It just kind of had like some pacing issues for me. I found it was a bit slow paced in the beginning, even though like a lot was happening. It just felt very slow paced, but the overall story was amazing. I love the writing style. I thought the world was really cool, and like the lore and all that stuff behind it. It was really interesting. Like very well crafted. It was just a well told story for the most part, aside from the pacing problems. This one got a 3.5 star for me. Next up is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, which I think is my only 5-star read for this year. I kind of picked that one up on a whim. Like, it was already on my TBR, and on Valentine's Day I was just in the mood for a romance, so I just went through Goodreads and picked the first romance that I found on my TBR. It happened to be this one. So I read it in a day and a half, and just, oh my god, I fell in love. I fell in love with it. Basically from the first page, or first chap, it was the audiobook, so the first whatever that would be. I keep telling everyone that I know to read this book because it was so freaking cute, and I think that a lot of people would like it even if they're not really big readers. I would gladly read a whole series of this book, of just these 2 characters being together and like them growing in their relationship. I think they're wonderful. I love the writing. The pacing was really good actually for this one. I thought that it was paced perfectly. Any faster, any slower, and it wouldn't have been good. It needs to be that length. I think that was the perfect choice, and this author did an amazing job with it. I then read Pillow Thoughts 2 by Courtney Peppernell. This is a book of poetry. I read this on audiobook. I couldn't sleep one night, so I just put it on, and it was really beautiful. It's narrated by the author, which is really nice, and it's just a really beautiful collection of poetry, and this one got 4 stars for me. I then read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. I know that there's some like discourse as to which book is actually the first book. I don't really care which one is, to be honest. So I read this one as though it were the first book in the series, and it was great. It was really fun. I have seen one movie. I'm not sure how many movies there are, to be honest. I've seen a movie from this pretty recently, I think like earlier this year. I watched it for the first time and it was awesome. It was so good. So I was wanting to read the series as well. This is part of my like children's book catch-up project that I've been doing for a few years. So I'll definitely be reading the rest of this series at some point, and this one got a 4-star for me as well. So these next few books I already talked about in my March wrap up, so I won't go into them at all. I'll just leave that video linked down below for you guys. But those books were Red Hood by Alana K. Arnold, which I gave 3.5 or a 4, not sure yet. Havenfall by Sarah Holland, which was also a 3.5. Finna by Nino Cipri, which got a 4 stars. Artificial Condition by Martha Wells, which got 4 stars as well. The Wide Window by Lemony Snicket, which also got 4 stars. And The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, which got 3.5 stars. Oh wait, that one I didn't talk about in my March wrap up. That book I talked about in my vlog, so I'll leave that down below as well if you want to see my thoughts on it. And then the last book on this list is Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells, which also got a 4 stars. I've read a lot of Martha Wells this year. They're so good. So that is it for all the books that I have read and loved so far in 2020. I will hopefully have a hell of a lot more books that I have loved as we go farther into the year. I'm loving everything that I'm reading right now. I'm just having such a good time this year with all of these fantastic reads. I think there's a lot coming out that's really good this year. Yeah, so my reading goal for this year is to try and keep up with new releases, because I have this horrible habit of adding a book to my TBR that's not released yet and then just forgetting about it for like 3 years. So I'm really trying to keep up with the new releases and read them as soon as I possibly can after they're released. I'm a few books behind and I also have quite a few coming up, so I'm a little bit overwhelmed, but I tried to work in as many as I could for the Owls, so I will eventually catch up with those, and there's so many that I can't wait for. So that will be all for today's video. Look out for part 2 of this video coming out shortly, where I talk about the ones that I didn't like this year. If all goes to plan, that video should be coming out a few days after this one does, so you'll see it soon. But I hope you're all having a great day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!